I'm just going to go through the fluid balance and some of the issues that we've noticed on pediatric high dependency since we went live using Cerner fluid balance and nursing assessments yesterday. Just to remind you that the fluid balance is in the obs and assessments section and it's in under intake and output. I just wanted to orientate you to the fluid balance, which is on the right hand side here. The top part of the fluid balance is the intake, the bottom part of the fluid balance is the output. At the top of the intake you get an hourly intake total in this darker blue line here. You get an output total at the top of all the outputs, and you get an hourly balance at the bottom of each hourly column. And just to go through the labeling of the hourly columns, because this has been causing a bit of an issue. This line here that I'm indicating here is midnight, and the first column in each new day records the first hour of the new day as in the paper chart. On the paper chart this is labelled 1 AM, but actually on the electronic chart the column header says midnight. If you hover over it, it tells you that it goes from midnight to 00:59 and equates to the first hour of the new day. If you go along, you will see at the end of that day you will see a 24-hour total, okay, and this will give you your totals for each line of your fluid balance chart. So in this column here, this is the end of the 3rd of August, this is the start of the 4th of August. This would give me all the plasma light that had been administered to this patient in that 24 hours leading to midnight on the 3rd of August. And the same would be true for this column for the same medication if it continued up until midnight on the 4th of August. The clinical range will give you the totals for the clinical range, which is detailed up here. And up here it is actually the same as the 24-hour total because the clinical range is the 3rd of August midnight to the 4th of August 23:59. Okay, you can change the clinical range by right-clicking and selecting admission to current, today's results, or other. Okay. So we've prescribed some plasma light for this patient, and it is now, I'm able to document this. It was administered to the patient, but I'm going to retrospectively document the amount of fluid that was given to the patient because this was given during a Cerner planned downtime. So I'm going to document for 8 AM. So this is the fluid that has gone in between 8 AM and 9 AM. So I'm doing my set of observations at 9 AM, but I'm filling in the column that is labelled 8 AM. So this is now 9 AM. I'm going to document the amount of fluid that's been given over the past hour, and the column header says 8 AM. I double click in the box and it auto-populates with 100 mils an hour. That's because this is a 500 ml bag that has been prescribed to run at 100 mils an hour. As we know, that the prescribed volume infused is not always the administered volume per hour, and that's for any number of reasons. Cannulas tissued, the flow rate wasn't able to be delivered because of the bore of the cannula, the infusion didn't start at the beginning of the hour. Anyway, in the usual way, you look at the amount of fluid that has been administered in the last hour, and you document that. And we need to correct this because it wasn't 100 mils, it was actually 67 mils that was given in this hour. As you can see, the 67 is now in the chart, and it's purple. I'm now going to document the same fluid for the following hour, and I know that in this case 89 mils were given, so I'm going to document 89. Then in the next hour 110 mils were administered, and the following hour it was 95 mils. So I've correctly documented the fluid at 9 a.m. for the fluid gone from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. At 10 a.m. from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. At 11 a.m. I'm going to document here. So this is the fluid that's gone in from 10 a.m. till 11 a.m. And at 12 p.m. I'm going to document the fluid that's gone in from 11 to 12. And I'm now going to sign that. And I can see that that gives me a total volume of plasma light given in or documented so far of 361 mils. There's some other medication that's also being given, totaling 455 mils. I can see my intake total from 8 a.m. is 67, 89, 165, which is the 110 mils here plus the 55 mils here, so you don't have to calculate it, it's all calculated for you. And the same here, 195, 95 mils of plasma light and 100 mils of this electrolyte solution here. And if I go to the bottom, you can see the balance, which is actually the volume given in because I haven't documented any output. If I had documented an output, this would subtract from this balance here at the bottom. Okay. Because the calculations are all done for you, at the end of a bag, you do not need to enter in the total volume infused as you would do on the paper chart. The total volume infused will be calculated for you here by Cerner. The total hourly volume infused will be calculated and displayed at the top of each column. The balance will be calculated and displayed at the bottom of each column. I hope that helps.